Greetings everyone. Welcome to the 71st session of the online Optom learning series. Let me introduce to you our speaker for today. So today we have Optom Jinal Shah. Jinal finished her Bachelor's of Optometry at the Lotus College of Optometry, India. And then she further completed her postgraduate diploma in visual neuroscience at the Brian Holden Institute of Optometry and Vision Science, which is at Hyderabad, LV Prasad Eye Institute. Currently, she is a consultant optometrist at Binocs, and she has special interest in binocular vision disorders and treating patients specifically in amblyopia vision via vision therapy. And today she is going to share with us on how to use this particular software, which is known as Binocs, in the management of amblyopia via a case presentation, which is one of the case she was able to manage this patient with amblyopia, and she's going to share with us her views on treatment and management of amblyopia. So welcome Jinal onto our platform, and let me just leave the screen time to you.
Hello all, good evening. Thank you for Kridin sir for the wonderful introduction, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my case with everyone. And okay, good evening everyone. So today's case, as you all can see, Binocs, how we used Binocs to treat amblyopia in our patient. So before starting the case, I would like to say that, there is no financial interest for me in this. Although I work at Bynocs, I am just here to share with everyone how we used the software to treat amblyopia. All right. So starting with this, now the patient was a 38-year-old male who came to the clinic. He was a jeweler by profession. His chief complaint was eye strain and occasional double vision for near since 8 months. Family history was non-significant, and the patient had a history of cholesterol and was on medication for the same. Upon clinical examination, we came to know that the glass prescription that the patient was using was minus 3.5 with minus 0.5 in right eye, and left eye minus 3 with minus 0.75 cylinder at 150 axis. Patient's visual acuity was 618 and N6 at 40 centimeter in the right eye, and in left eye it was 6 by 60 and N6 with strain at 40 centimeter. Upon doing his objective refraction, we came to know that the actual refraction was minus 5.5 with minus 0.5 cylinder at 70-degree axis, and in left eye was minus 4.5 with minus 0.5 at 145-degree axis. Cycloplegic refraction confirmed our dry refraction. The values matched, and we when we did the subjective refraction, patient accepted minus 5.5 with minus 0.5 in the right eye, and vision improved to 6.6 N6. However, in the left eye with minus 4.5 and minus 0.5 cylinder at 150, patient only improved to 6.36 in the left eye. Coming to the examination, anterior segment was within normal limits in both eyes. Even the fundus examination was within normal limits. IOP was within normal limits, as you can see, 14 mm of HG and 16 mm of HG in right and left eyes. Patient was orthophoric for distance and for near, but the 4 prism base out test was positive. So what we diagnosed the patient was with microtropia and amblyopia, and patient was given his new prescription for his new glasses and was asked to start amblyopia therapy after 2 weeks. Now, question to my audience here is, what is amblyopia? Please put your answers in the chat box.
Yeah, somebody says lazy eye. Amblyopia means lazy eye. I mean, that's, yeah, 2 of them say lazy eye. Somebody did say a condition of diminished visual form sense, decreased eyesight due to abnormal visual development. So I think you can form your own definition by the answers what we are getting here.
Yes.
Yeah, so everybody has some or the other idea. So let's just see what you have to tell about what's amblyopia.
Yes. So as everyone has rightly said that amblyopia is defined as the reduction of the best corrected visual acuity in either eyes or both eyes that cannot be attributed exclusively to structural abnormality of the eye. So what everyone said was all of us were on the same line. And now what I want to know is what are the modes of treatment for amblyopia, and for the practitioners who are with us, what do you use in the clinic is what I want to know.
Patching, atropine, and somebody says PTO, vision therapy, patching. Okay, atropine, patch, eye patch treatment or patching. So I think patching wins the race. Everybody is doing patching, and majority of them are saying patching. I think almost 60% of them are patching. Correction of the underlying cause. That's again an
That's
interesting
the main one. That's very well done.
vision therapy exercises or vision therapy. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. So people are doing patching, people are doing vision therapy exercises. Some people do also atropine treatment, or using, somebody said they use direct or indirect patching. They also do atropinization exercises with synaptophore as well as computer based therapy. So it's a wide variety of practice, I guess, uh, people are doing here. Yep, thank you for your answers. Thank you for your answers. Let's just see what you have to say about it.
Yes. So, as everyone rightly said, with patching being the most common and vision therapy, I saw that everyone was putting in the chat box. So, yeah, first, what we have to do is give them the refractive error correction. Yes, patching, penalization that can either be optical or using atropine. Levodopa and carbidopa are two drugs which are being used nowadays, not very commonly used, but they are still there, and vision therapy. Now, all of these, especially patching, there is a big the active stimulation vision therapy. So, with patching, what happens is there is less patients don't comply to it. There is complaint. Sometimes the vision drops with it. With penalization, it's not comfortable. Carbidopa and levodopa, what we've seen is patients complain of nausea. And yes, vision therapy is what we are going to be talking about. So, now coming to the next one. So we did the Binocs evaluation of this patient when the patient came to the clinic, and we found that fusion for both distance and near was present. Stereopsis was absent, and the extraocular motor function was full and free in all directions. But what I want to know is what is dichoptic viewing. I'm going to give you an idea to all of you of what is dichoptic viewing. So it is viewing separate independent fields in each eye. Different stimuli are presented to each eye, and patient will either be wearing anaglyphs or stereopsis glasses, and then he'll be seeing the field of view. All right. Now, what do we do with dichoptic anti-suppression therapy? We provide each eye with a different stimuli that are contrast adjusted. The dominant eye gets a contrast adjusted stimuli, that is, the contrast of the dominant eye is decreased. What we have seen is when the therapy is given in this method, the inhibitory interactions and suppression in the dominance column is reduced. Thereby, the binocular vision of the patient is improved, what we've seen. Now, coming to Binocs and what does it do in dichoptic anti-suppression therapy. So, what we do with Binocs is we approach amblyopia as a binocular problem. We treat patients for not just increasing their visual acuity, but to also increase their fusion and their stereopsis. There is a prerequisite to this is that the patient should have bifoveal fixation. So in manifest strabismus with eccentric fixation, it is ineffective. And the major point of Binocs is that because it's a cloud-based software, patients can do the therapy in clinic as well as at home. Now, let's see this video of what different types of games we have in Binocs. What I had said, dichoptic anti-suppression therapy, we have different types of games. Let me show you what those games are. So this is the very first game. Patient will be wearing the anaglyph glasses on top of their correction, and they'll be playing this game. They have to catch the target, which if it's the right eye that's amblyopic and right eye seen through the red anaglyph glasses, they'll catch the red target. So the activity is given to the amblyopic eye. This is the second game that we have, and the main thing with Binocs is that with these games, their levels increase. So as the patient's performance improves, thereby their visual acuity improves. But we don't keep it easy. We keep increasing the levels in the game, and with the levels, what we do is we decrease the size of the target, and we increase the speed of the game. So this patient was given Binocs therapy. In addition to the dichoptic anti-suppression therapy, patient was also given fusional vergence training and games to improve their stereopsis. Now, post-therapy, we gave 25 sessions to this patient of amblyopia therapy. We also gave them fusional vergence training. Fusional vergence training was started 10 days after the games were played. So, first day to 25th day, they played the games that I just showed you. But on the 10th day, we started also working on their fusional vergence. What happened is that the vision in the affected eye increased to 6 by 9 minus 1. Their stereopsis increased to 125 seconds of arc. And because we had trained the vergence system of the patient, the complaint of their double vision had also resolved. So that was it. It was a very short presentation. I hope everyone has understood. Are there any questions? Because we are open to questions now.
Okay, Jinal, thanks. I think this was quite a short one, but you did make a point that there are many treatments of amblyopia available, and you had a quite a good experience in terms of using Binocs. I
Yes.
think a lot of people would have some questions on what is Binocs and how Binocs works. Would you like to give a short, just a gist about how does Binocs work? It of course works on the dichoptic phenomena, and I think you did mention that you use red and green filters, and then you let patients, you know. So
So yes,
yeah,
so Binocs is a cloud-based software for amblyopia for vision therapy. What do we mean by cloud-based? Is that it is available on Google Chrome. So you don't have to install a separate system for it. What you need is a computer that has internet connection in it, and you can go to binocs.com and do the therapy. All
okay,
right, and as I mentioned, we work on the dichoptic viewing anti-suppression therapy. So again, I'll repeat what I had said. Each eye is given a different stimulus, but the contrast of the dominant eye is reduced to the level of the contrast of the amblyopic eye. So basically, what we show is they wear the red and blue anaglyphs, and we show them red and blue circles. What we ask the patient is, are both circles equally bright to them or not? What happens with amblyopic patients is when they are seeing because both eyes are seeing different fields, they can come to know whether one field is brighter than the other. So if the patient says that, yeah, so from my right eye, I can see a brighter circle, what we do is we manually decrease the contrast of that. And we tell the patient, tell us stop when when both eyes see equally bright circles. So when the red and blue circles are equally bright, that is the point we say that the adjusted contrast. And then the task of each game is given to the amblyopic eye.
okay,
Okay, so as I had said that when the task is given to the amblyopic eye, what we've seen is in turn the visual acuity improves. Why does it improve? Is because the inhibitory interaction in the brain and the suppression in the ocular dominance column, because of this dichoptic viewing with contrast adjusted stimuli, what happens is that is reduced, and thereby their visual acuity improves.
that's right.
And what we've seen with Binocs is because we approach it with a binocular vision treatment, as a binocular vision treatment, stereopsis and fusion, yes, it improves as we saw in this case. But what we've seen is even the visual acuity doesn't reduce post therapy. So a lot of times we've seen that with patching, with atropine, once you stop the therapy, the visual acuity will again fall back to, probably by 2 lines, 3 lines. But in Binocs, that is not what we've seen. If the patient has improved to 6 by 9, they'll stay at 6 by 9. Yes, but you have to give the patient their full correction and make sure that they have foveal fixation.
Okay, and it is as you mentioned, this is a computer-based exercise, and it's a cloud-based exercise. Is there any specific requirements of the computer? What you would tell your patients that you would need to have or they can use any normal laptop, or is there any specific kind of a system which they require to run this particular, uh, the therapy?
So no, they can use any laptop or any computer. There are no prerequisites to this. Yes, they cannot use a tablet or a mobile phone, but any laptop is okay.
I see. Okay, okay. That's so. The first question, Jinal, here is Binocs used for all types of amblyopia? Is there you have any experience on different types of amblyopia, or is it specifically for uh, probably refractive type or strabismic type?
So yes, you can use Binocs for all types except strabismic, because if they have developed eccentric fixation, then Binocs will not be effective. Other than that, if you've given full correction to your patient and if you see that their fixation is falling on their fovea, if they have foveal fixation, then you can go ahead and give Binocs to the patient. But just make sure that there is no eccentric fixation, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so your
So yes,
prerequisite has
for
to
all
be
types of amblyopia except strabismus, because most of them have eccentric fixation.
okay. Great. The other question is, which color of the filter is normally given for the treatment eye or for the amblyopic eye, if I may rephrase that?
Yes.
And the blue or the red color, is there any specific reasons about it?
No. So we use the red and blue filters because it's a dichoptic viewing game. And in Binocs, you can choose which eye is amblyopic. So if your patient is wearing the blue filter in the left eye and red filter in the right eye, before you start the game, it asks you which filter is in which eye and which eye is amblyopic. So then accordingly, the system will give them the target. So let's say
Okay,
if their right eye is amblyopic and they are wearing the red filter in the right eye, the system will give them red color targets.
okay. So it is you can pre-choose it, or I mean, you can put it in the software and
Yes,
you can
yes,
decide.
yes,
But
you can modify.
any specific recommendation that you must use red for the amblyopic eye or blue for the amblyopic eye?
No, because you are choosing which eye is amblyopic and which filter is in which eye, there is no specific mention of it. Just
Okay.
make sure that if you're using blue in the left eye, then in the software also you have blue in the left eye. That is what you have to make sure.
I see. Okay, okay. So just make sure that you are putting the eye which is amblyopic properly. If not, you will treat the non-amblyopic eye properly,
Yes.
right? Okay. So there is no specific color on the eye of the treatment, but just make sure that you synchronize with your software well. Okay. Let's look at another question. The other question is Binocs available for free for users? Because you said it's a cloud based and it's available in probably Play Store and all. So this is kind of a question: is it available free, or and the next question is, how long does one Binox session last for?
So Binocs is not available for free. You need to create an account with Binocs, and one session lasts for about 25 to 30 minutes.
One session lasts for about 25 to
Yes.
30 minutes, which again you said it can be done online, as well as it can be done at, I mean, online means at home, and you can
Yes.
also uh, call patients to your office and do the
Yes.
vision therapy,
So
right?
whether it is office based or home based treatment, the therapy will remain the same and it will be for same 25 to 30 minutes.
Okay. And just to add on that question, if you are giving that exercise as an, home exercise, you are not having the patient come to your office, but if you are giving it as at home exercise, how are you going to monitor in terms of the improvement? So what
Yes.
would be the recommended follow-up schedule, and how do you normally do that follow-up?
So once the patient does therapy at home, the practitioner, whoever has assigned them the therapy, so if they've come to me and I've assigned them the therapy, I get the reports in my Binocs account. Okay,
Okay.
so every day that the patient does therapy, once they are finished with their therapy, I will automatically get the report in my account, and then I can check whether the patient has done it properly or not. I can check whether they've selected their their amblyopic eye, whether they've done the therapy properly, whether they just left the therapy in between, whether the activity was properly completed or not. You can come to know through the report section.
Okay, so you can properly monitor how much time did
Yes,
you
yes,
do, and
yes. You can. The practitioner can properly monitor whatever the patient is doing. So whether they are doing the therapy consistently, whether they are doing it correctly. Also, so when I give therapy to a patient, I get the number of therapies that they have done. Let's say that I've given 20 therapies to my patient, and they've done only 2 therapies, so I get that also, whether they've done. So I'll get a in the patient's profile, I'll get how many therapies they've done and the report of each therapy.
okay,
So whether they're doing it consistently or not also, I can come to know with Binocs.
okay, and this follows the next question, which is on the follow-up schedule. So, how often do you need to actually follow up these patients at your practice if you're giving this as a home, home exercise?
So yes,
How often do you follow up them?
if you've given 20 sessions to the patient for amblyopia therapy, they have to do it every day. And once their 20 sessions are over, or how many sessions that you assign to them, once they are over, they need to come back to the clinic, and then you can check their visual acuity. And then the practitioner can decide, okay, there is more scope. Let's say that in 20 sessions, the patient has improved to 612, and you feel that yes, there is scope for 2 more lines of improvement, then you can go ahead and give them 10 more sessions. So what we tell all practitioners is start with 20 sessions. You can record their visual acuity at the 10th session and at the 20th session, and then take a call whether you want to go ahead and give more therapies or not, because most of the patients, they improve to 6.
Okay, so you start off with basic 20
Yes,
sessions as a package first, and then you monitor them
yes,
and decide whether how frequent do you want to call them.
yes.
And does the initial visual acuity or the initial status of the patient play an important role in deciding the follow-up, or you maintain this for all patients who you see them for the first time?
We maintain this for all patients.
You maintain this for all patients. Okay, okay, okay. Let's take a couple of more questions. Is there any age cutoff in terms of Binocs, what you have been using the Binocs
So,
therapies, and any limitations, any kind of limitations which you feel?
So as I said, as we saw, this patient is 38 years old. So there is no age cutoff. The only limitation is that the patient should have a basic understanding of how the computer works, and they should have the attention span. So what we do is we start Binocs from the age of approximately 5-year-old patient, and then, as you can see, it works even in adults.
Okay, so it's just the prerequisite in terms of doing this is basically if you want to start this therapy, the limitation is they should have a desktop or a computer or a laptop with them, and they should be able to use that. That's the only thing. And yeah, of course, you did mention you have treated the 38-year-old the patient. So age, I don't think is any limitation to this, right?
There's no age cutoff for Binocs.
Okay. And let's take one last question. Uh, have you seen? You did mention that the amblyopia can be a kind of rebound in terms of patching, right? There might be a rebound effect. Did you have any experience of such effects when you're using Binocs?
No, I have not seen a single patient who had rebound after using Binocs.
So once they have reached their optimum visual acuity, do you call them back and still continue therapy in a slow down progression manner, or you once they have reached 6.6, you stop giving the therapy?
We
What's
stop giving the therapy once we see that they're at 6, we stop the therapy.
You stop the therapy and just follow up and see whether there is
Yeah.
any regress which you have not found.
Yes.
Okay,
Of
like
course, we do call them for follow up, but once we see that they have reached, we stop the therapy.
okay, okay. And any differences in terms of using this in children versus the adults? Because you see, this is a game based, it's a gamified kind of a vision therapy system. So, have you found that children's respond to this particular therapy much more better compared to adults, or there is no such difference?
All the patients, what I can say is all my patients comply to this therapy. It's a 5-year-old or a 38-year-old, all of them comply because see, it's interesting for them. For them, they are just playing a game. For patient, the interface is that they are just playing a game. So, in fact, in children, the compliance is much better. They insist on coming every day to the parent. So, yeah.
Okay. One interesting question. I'll just take that. It just popped up on the chat. What if the patient has some color vision defect? Would this therapy be useful? Is that a prerequisite? I mean, you did mention there are some prerequisites for this. Is color vision a prerequisite? Would
No.
that be the thing which we need to look at?
No, it is not a prerequisite. So even if they are, if they have color vision deficiency, they can still use Binocs because at the end of the day, it's dichoptic viewing, and they have to recognize the target. They have to recognize whether it's a petrol pump, whether it's a star. So each eye is getting a different stimulus, and they are catching the stimuli. For them, it's just catching the petrol pump. So no, even if they are color vision deficit, they can use Binocs.
Okay, great. And I think people are still asking question. I'm just taking this one. I hope you don't mind,
No,
since
no, no problem.
this is also one of the interesting one. I'm just reading it out for you. There's one patient who has right eye which is amblyopic because of keratoconus,
Okay.
which has the vision of counting fingers at 3 meters, which can be best corrected to 660, and the other eye is best corrected to 6'9". Do you think Binocs would work for that patient? Because the
Yes.
underlying cause is keratoconus.
Yes. So what you can do is you can give them scleral lenses or RGP lenses, whatever, Kerasoft or whatever. Give them the best treatment available for their keratoconus, and then you can start therapy on Binocs. So you can use Binocs for this patient, even though there's an underlying cause. But of course, you have to take care of that cause.
Okay, okay. I think I got the question wrong, but I'm just gonna keep that question what I asked you, which is also very important, because what you mentioned, that treat the underlying cause, whether the cause of amblyopia is because of keratoconus or because of any other condition. You did mention that give the best corrected VA
Yes.
first and then start treating,
Yes.
right? But the case what was asked, sorry, I just misread it. The right eye was amblyopic since birth, the left eye has keratoconus. It's a
Okay.
reverse case. So the
Okay.
right eye is amblyopic since birth, and the left eye has keratoconus. The the best VA in the amblyopic eye is 660, and the best VA on the keratoconic eye, which is the left eye, improves till 6'9".
Okay. So again, in this case also, we can check first their fixation. If they have foveal fixation in the amblyopic eye and even in the dominant eye, we can go ahead and give them therapy.
Okay. So
And
there
there
is
should be no strabismus basically. So if they have strabismus, then give them that appropriate prism glass. See to it that the fixation falls on the fovea, and then go ahead and give therapy.
okay. So what I understand by going into this particular aspect of vision therapy when it comes to computer based or Binocs in particular, we need to have bifoveal fixation by whatever means. If they have strabismus, try to get the bifoveal fixation first by giving them prisms, right? And then go ahead doing vision therapy.
That's
Or
correct.
in other patients, if you have a reduction in visual acuity by some other underlying cause, such as keratoconus, for example, I mean, not treat, but get the best visual outcome by whatever ways you can, RGP, Kerasoft, scleral lenses for that matter, and then start treating amblyopia using vision therapy based.
Yes,
Am I
because
making sense?
the thing with Binocs is you have to give them the full correction.
Okay.
So,
Great.
full correction and bifoveal fixation, that is the prerequisite.
That is a prerequisite. Okay, great. So I think good learning. And then the last one, the very, very last one is what's the success rate? You did mention all your patients were good, all your patients were quite happy and everything.
Yes.
But would you like to comment on the overall success rate of that particular software?
Uh, so what I cannot like mention it in percentages, but what I can say is if all the prerequisites, all the check, if they were checked off and
Okay.
ticked off, and then the therapy was started, the success rate was almost 100%.
Great. Okay. So that sums it up because you did mention there are prerequisites. We need to check for whether his patients
Yes,
have fixation.
at the
So if those things are handled well, I think the success rate would be much higher and better, right?
yes.
Okay. Great. So thank you, Jinal. We have taken up almost all questions and a good discussion. I did read the case wrongly, so I apologize. But I think that also lead us into some other discussion, which was also really important. So thank you, Jinal, for sharing with us your case and giving us ideas on how we can use computer-based therapy for managing our patients with amblyopia. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you all for attending. Thank you.
So we do have session tomorrow, and so we have a session tomorrow which is based on the application of anterior segment OCT in diagnosing ocular conditions. So tune in tomorrow. The session is at 6:30 evening Indian time and late evening 9 p.m. Malaysian time. Please do join us tomorrow as well. Stay safe, take care, and bye bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Jinal. Bye bye.
Bye, sir.